Good morning, children. So in the morning session, you wrote the test paper. Okay, now let's do the correction. Listen, even because of the small mistakes, we are losing the mark. In class test, if you are not able to score, then how will you be able to score the full marks in that board exam? So in our class test, we should score full. That should be our aim. Okay, huh? So next week again, get ready for the test paper in matrices. Next week, Wednesday. Note it down. 2 periods we have that day, test paper in matrices. Okay? Sometimes it will be an MCQ test paper only. I'll give 10 questions. Okay? That will be an MCQ test paper sometimes. Okay? Or I'll ask 6 1-mark questions and 2 2-mark questions like that. Again, out of 10 marks, it's a test paper in matrices. Prepare well and come. By today, we'll be completing the matrices. Okay. So let's discuss the answers. Look at the first one. First one, what is the question given there? Solve. And the concept is given like this. 3 into 2 minus x greater than or equal to 2 into 1 minus x. How to do this? First of all, we will open the bracket. Yes or no? When you open the bracket, it is 6 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 2 minus 2x. Okay. So next step, you take all the x terms to one side and the terms without x to other side. You take all the terms with x to one side. So when you take all the terms with x to one side, minus 2x, if you bring it to other side, it will become plus 2x minus 3x is greater than or equal to 2 minus 6. So we get minus x is greater than or equal to minus 4. Is that not? When we multiply by minus, what happens? Whether the inequality sign will change or not? Will it change or not? Tomlin, will it change or not? When you multiply by minus? Huh? Yes, ma'am. But it is not there in the paper. Okay, it is not in the paper. Then what is the use? We know everything, but if we are not able to present, how we will get the mark? Okay, now look at here. X is less than or equal to 4. Aparna and all, listen. Less than or equal to is there, isn't it? That means maximum value is close to 4. And here it is minus infinity to 4. Aparna, where is Aparna? Look at the answer you wrote. Is it open there? Is or no? Aditya, Satyan? So, if it is equal to symbol is there means that number is included. So, up to 4. Till 4 we can take. So, here it is we should write closed. Infinity we will not be able to write closed because infinity we don't know the value. For infinity always, whether it is open or, okay, whether it is positive infinity or negative infinity, it will be always open only. Okay? Is it okay? Anila, Karthik, sorry, Anila didn't write the test paper. What about the others? Aparna? Now look at the second question. The second question, the common mistake I found is, did not read the question properly. That is the thing. The question you didn't read. I know, once I look at the question and this question is familiar. Didn't read that one completely. So solution part and all is correct, but the final answer went wrong. Look at the second question. What about the second one? Find the pair of consecutive even integers. The question is, it is given pair of consecutive even integers. So let us take the numbers to be. How will you take the numbers?
X and x plus 2.
X and x plus 2. You take consecutive pair of integers, both of which are larger than 5. X is greater than 5. X plus 2 is also greater than 5. So x must be greater than 3, isn't it? Then, which are larger than 5. Both the numbers must be greater than 5. X is greater than 5 and x is greater than 3. Is that no? So x is greater than 3. Suppose this is an, okay, I am plotting the numbers in your number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is greater than 3 means this part. X is greater than 5 means 5 and more, isn't it? Greater than 5. That means it is 5 and more. So which is the common part we will get? It should be greater than 5. Okay? We have to, solution means it should satisfy both the condition. X is greater than 3 and X is greater than 5 means X will be always greater than 5. And what is given? Sum is less than 23. X plus 2 is less than 23. So 2x is less than 23 minus 2. So 2x is less than 21. So x is less than 21 by 2, which is 10.5. X must be less than 10.5. And we are taking integers. Okay, so simply don't write the answer like this. 4, 6, 8, 10. Tomlin, if you write like this, you will not be getting the marks. This is wrong. Here it is asked the pair. So you should write the answers in pair form. So which are the possibilities? 6, 8. 8. 6 and 8. What are the possible numbers you will get? 8 and 10. 10 and 12. These are the pairs. Is it okay, children? Huh? Is it okay? Yes? Tell me, children, is it clear? Do you get the mistake? Huh? Tomlin? Aditya? Okay. Now look at the next one. Next one is solving graphically. In that one also, don't know how to find the common part, common region. Solution set and all you got. Only the region you get confused. I'll explain that once again. Those who have the graph book, take it and redo it once again today as homework. Okay. Look at the question. Solve graphically. The question is given like this. 2x plus y is less than or equal to 24. X plus y is less than 11. 2x plus 5y less than or equal to 40. X greater than 0, y greater than or equal to 0. X greater than 0, y is greater than or equal to 0. This is the question given. So first we will be finding the solution set. I am taking the solution set here. So in order to find the solution set, we take the equality x, y. When x is 0, y is 24, isn't it? Y is 0, we will get x as 12. Look at the next case. X plus y is 11. Okay, here also I am finding the solution set x, y. When x is 0, y is 11. Y is 0, x is 11. The next one, 2x plus 5y is less than or equal to 40. So equal to 40. We make it as equal to 40 and find the solution set. When x is 0, y is 8, y is 0, x is 20. And x greater than 0, y greater than or equal to 0 means only the first quadrant we have to select, not the other things. We have to select only the shaded region in the first quadrant. Up to that, is it okay? Now we have to draw the graph. Okay, I am just marking it approximately, children, because I'm not taking the graph. Okay, look at here. I suppose I mark the points. Okay, 0. Here the maximum we want is 24. So I'm marking it as 2 units. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. And y value also I want maximum 24. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay. Now look at the first one. When x is 0, y is 24. 1 second, children. 1 second. I'll close the door. It is raining heavily. I'm not able to hear. Okay. Children, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now listen for the first one. When x is 0, y is 24. So somewhere here. And x is 12, y is 0. So when you join this, we'll be getting a line. Okay, once you draw the line, you select the region. Which is the region? How will you select the region? If you put 0, 0. 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 24. Is it true? 0. When you put 0, 0, you can, because the line is not passing through the origin. You can check easily. So 0, 0, when you substitute, 0 is less than 24 is true. Therefore, we have to shade the region below this line. Okay? Now take the second one. X plus y is less than 11. When x is 0, y is 11. Y is 0, x is 11. So this is the next line. Okay? Now here also we want to find the region. When I put 0, 0, the line is not passing through the origin. So we select 0, 0. When you substitute 0, 0, 0 is less than 11 is true. Therefore, we have to shade the region below this line. Again, look at the next one. When x is 0, y is 8. Y is 0, x is 20. So again, when I join this, I'll be getting this line. When you substitute 0, 0, 0 is less than 40. So below this line. So the region below all these three lines means it should be included under all these three. So which is the region to be shaded? Which is the region to be shaded? Is it the whole region we have to shade? No, we have to shade only this part. This is the region which is coming under all the three graphs. This is the region to be shaded. Okay? Huh? Okay, instead of doing that, okay, Aparna, is it clear? Only this is the region. I think Anila, not Anila, Aditya Satyan did it well. Isn't it? Your graph is correct. Tomlin's also shading region went wrong. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, today who are all ready to present the seminar? Aishwarya, Aparna ready? Ready. Then okay, you can present it. After that, we can move on to the matrices topic. Okay? Get ready. Okay.
Ma'am, can I start?
Yes.
Ma'am, 1 minute.
Yes. You can see, okay, we can see your screen. You can start, Aparna.
Good afternoon to all. Today I'm here to take a seminar on the topic increasing and decreasing function. So let's start. So a function is said to be increasing or decreasing when we are having three situations. So first we have to study the three situations. That is, by using a function's derivative only, we are deciding whether the function is increasing or decreasing. A function's derivative means we'll be given with a function f of x. So by finding the derivative f dash of x, we can decide that whether that function is increasing function or whether it is decreasing function. So there are three situations in which we have to understand. That is, when the function's derivative is greater than 0. If we are getting a value which is greater than 0, that is like 1, 2, 3, etc., then f of x is an increasing function. Then we can tell that that particular function is an increasing function. Then the second situation is if f dash of x is less than 0. That means if it is less than 0, like -1, -3, or -2, we are getting that is less than 0. So if you're getting that values which is less than 0, then we can define f of x as a decreasing function. And the third situation is if f dash of x is equal to 0, then it is a constant function. So I'll repeat it once again. That is, when f dash of x is greater than 0, it is an increasing function. If f dash of x is less than 0, it is a decreasing function. That is, the f of x is a decreasing function. Then if f dash of x is 0, then it is a constant function. Then now let's see the graph of increasing and decreasing function. Ma'am, can you see it?
No, here we can't see. What about you children? Jamlin? Aishwarya? Can you see?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, Aparna.
Ma'am, so can I share it once again?
Yes, yes, do it.
Ma'am, now is it okay?
Now it is okay.
Okay, ma'am. So, sorry, the graph of the increasing and decreasing function is the blue line which you can see is denoted as an increasing function. You can see it on your left side as well as on the your right side. That is the blue line which is indicated in the slide is depicted as an increasing function. Then the green line is the constant function. And you can see it on your right side, the red line, that is a decreasing function. So this is the graph of increasing and decreasing function. So now let's see one problem so that it would be more clear. That is, show that the function 3x plus 17 is strictly increasing on R. So, in this question, we can understand that the function is given as 3x plus 17. So we have to prove that it is strictly increasing. We have to prove that it is an increasing function. So can anyone tell that? What can we tell? That is, when can we tell that a function is increasing? I told you earlier. So can anyone tell that?
When the derivative of the function is greater than 0.
Yes, that's correct. So when the derivative f dash of x is greater than 0, we can tell that that function is increasing function. So here, f of x is equal to 3x plus 17. So first we have to find the derivative of this function, f dash of x. That is 3 into derivative of derivative of x is 1 and derivative of a constant is 0. So 3 into 1 plus 0, that is 3 plus 0, and we get it as 3. So here it is, in this question, it is told that we have to prove that it is strictly increasing. So it is being proved now because we are getting a value which is greater than 0. So we can tell that f of x, the function, is increasing function. I hope so it is clear for you. Now let's do one more problem. That is, find the intervals in which the function f given by f of x is equal to 2x square minus 3x is increasing or decreasing. So in this also, it is the same procedure. That is, f of x is equal to 2x square minus 3x. So a function is given. Now we have to find the derivative of that particular function, f dash of x. So f dash of x means 2 into x square. The derivative of x square is 2x raised to 1. So 2 into 2x minus 3 into a derivative of x is 1. So 2 into 2x minus 3 into 1, that is 4x minus 3. So you can see that f dash of x is equal to 4x minus 3. That is the derivative of that function. Now in this question, we have to equate it to 0. That is, we have to equate f dash of x is equal to 0. That is, f dash of x we have found out already, that is 4x minus 3. So 4x minus 3 is equal to 0, in which 4x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 3 by 4. We got a value that is x as 3 by 4. Now we got the value x as 3 by 4. Now the next step is we have to plot that in number line, so that we will get that is towards our left side. While we're plotting the number in the while we're plotting it in the number line, we can see that towards our left it is negative infinity and towards our right it is positive infinity. So now what we have to do is we have to substitute one value which is less than 3 by 4. So let's give the value as like 0 we can take. And while we are equating it in the f dash of x, that is while we are equating f dash of x as 0, f dash of 0 is equal to, we have found already that f dash of x is equal to 4x minus 3. So in that, in there also, in that x, in the place of x, we have to substitute 0. That is, the thing is that we have to take any value which is less than 3 by 4, and we have to check whether it is an increasing or decreasing function. And in the same way, we have to take one greater value of 3 by 4, and we have to check whether it is increasing or decreasing function. So while we're taking 0, while we put 0 in the place of f dash of x, we are getting it is negative 3. Negative 3 is less than 0, right? It is less than 0. So it is a decreasing function. And now we are taking a value which is greater than 3 by 4. That is, let's take 1. So while we are taking f dash, while we are substituting 1 in the place of f dash of x, we are getting a value which is greater than 0. So while we are getting a value which is greater than 0, it is an increasing function. So from this, we can tell that in the interval negative infinity comma 3 by 4, we are getting a value which is decreasing, or it is a decreasing function. And in the interval 3 by 4 comma infinity, it is strictly increasing, because we proved that how we are taking a value which is less than 3 by 4, as well as we are taking a value which is greater than 3 by 4. So we are getting this value. So you can see it in that box, that is the interval in the interval negative infinity comma 3 by 4, it is a decreasing function. That is, the function f is strictly decreasing. And in the interval 3 by 4 comma infinity, that is we took the value as 1 and we substituted, so we're getting a positive value. So it is strictly increasing function. So we also found out the intervals, that is 3 by 4 comma infinity and negative infinity comma 3 by 4, in which 3 by 4 comma infinity is strictly increasing function and negative infinity comma 3 by 4 is strictly decreasing. So I hope so this concept is clear for you. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Aparna?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, we did well. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
What about the other children? Is it okay? Any doubt you have means you can ask your doubts. Okay, listen children. Now I am going to ask a question. Okay, tell me. In the first problem, she didn't equate it to 0. In the second question, she equated to 0. Why? In the first question, you didn't equate it to 0, isn't it? In the second question, we equated to 0. Why? Why we are equating it to 0? The first one we are not equating, isn't it? In the second one, we equate it to 0 and there we are finding x. Why? Why? Karthik? Why is it Aparna so? Why? Why? Okay, listen. In the first problem, when she explained, we got the first derivative of constant as a number. Okay, we got a single number, 3 or 5. So from that value, we can decide it easily. But look at the second one. In second one, we are not getting a number. We are getting an expression. We are getting a linear equation. Is it clear? So whenever we get a function in x, we should equate it to 0, solve for that one. Is it clear? In the first one, we are not equating it to 0 because when we differentiate, we get a constant. So we can easily decide whether the function is increasing or decreasing. But when we differentiate and we are getting a linear function or quadratic function, means We should equate it to 0, find the values of x, and we should divide the interval. We should divide the number line into some different intervals, and we have to find. Is it clear? Is it okay? Okay. Then next one, who is the next one? Ready, Karthik? Ready?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, 2 minutes. I want to set this up.
Okay. And who is the next one? Tomlin or Shubham? Femina, I think Femina, isn't it? Femina is not present. Tomlin, are you ready today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then next to Karthik, you get it. Okay? Sir, as we are revising this chapter today, when I give the questions tomorrow, when I give the assignment questions, I hope it will be easy for you to do. And Shubham also, okay, 2 more has to take the. Then the next round will start. Okay, so once they complete it, the next round, Aishwarya and all you can again once again start. Okay, Aditya, Anila, Mohanan, and
Ma'am,
yes.
I'll have to do it today.
No. Next week. Prepare it for the next week, not this week. Next week, Thursday, Friday, you prepare. Once let them complete till Shubham.
My portions.
Questions. What is the topic I gave to Aishwarya? That it, I think
Marginal revenue.
marginal revenue. And for you, I think some maximum minima question. I'll give one question. Solve it and explain it. Okay, I'll send one question today, Aditya. Anila, Mohan, and also I'll send one maxima minima question. Solve that one. Prepare that one and solve it. Okay. Did I give any topic to you, Anila, Mohanan, in differentiation?
One topic.
Which one? Break-even analysis, I think, isn't it? Is it so? Is it break-even analysis, that break-even point? I think so. Okay. Okay, I'll fix the topic and I'll send it. Now, Karthik, ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Karthik. You can start.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes. No, it's okay.
Good afternoon to all. Today, I'm here to take a seminar on maxima and minima. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about what is maxima and what is minima. Let f be a function defined on an interval I, then f is said to have a maximum value in I if there exists a point C in such that f of C is greater than f of x for all x belongs to I. The number f of C is called maximum when the value of f in I and the point is called, and point C is called the point of maximum value in I. F is said to have a minimum value in I if there exists a point C in I such that f of C is less than f of x for all x belongs to I. The number f of C in this case is called the minimum value of f in I, and the point C in this case is called point of minimum value f in I. F is said to have an extreme value in I if there exists a point C in such that f is either a maximum value or a minimum value of f in I. The number f of C in this case is called an extreme value of f in I, and the point C is called an extreme point. Now I'll be discussing how the steps to find maxima and minima. In order to find maximum minima, there are two methods. Today I'm going to tell you about how to find maximum minima using the second derivative test. For finding maximum minima using second derivative test, we should name a function f defined Let f be a function defined on an interval I and c belongs to I. Then we have to differentiate that function twice. After that, x is equal to c is a point of local maxima if f dash of x, f dash of c is equal to 0 and f double dash of c is less than 0. If f double dash of c is less than 0, we can determine that it is a point of local maxima. In this case, f of c is a has a local maxima value of x is equal to c is a point of local minima if f dash of c is equal to 0 and f double dash of c is greater than 0. It means that if f double dash, if we differentiate the function twice and we get it as a greater value than 0, then we can find that it has a local minimum. Next, I am going to discuss a problem related to maximum and minimum. Find the local maximum minima of f of x is equal to x raised to 3 minus 6x square plus 9x plus 12. In this function, in this question, the function f of x is equal to x cube minus 6x square plus 9x plus 12. So first we should differentiate the function twice. When you differentiate it one time, we get it as 3x square minus 12x plus 9. When you differentiate the function one more time, we get it as 6x minus 12. Then we should let f of x be 0. We should equate it to 0. So from that we can get that 3x square minus 12x plus 9 is equal to 0. As all numbers contain 3, we can divide it by 3. So we get x square minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. Then we should find the value of x and we should split the middle term. So you'll get it as x minus 3 into x minus 1. So we'll get x, the value of x as x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 1. After finding the value of x, we should substitute it in f double dash of x. When we substitute 3 in f double dash of x, we get it as 6 into 3 minus 12, which is equal to 18 minus 12, which is 6. Then when we, it is equal to 6. 6 is greater than 0. So as I discussed in the first part on how to find the steps for maximum minima, if f double dash of x is greater than 0, then it is a point of local minima. So in order to find the minima, we should substitute 3 in f of x. When we substitute 3 in f of x, we get 3 raised to 3 minus 6 into 3 square plus 9 into 3 plus 12. That is equal to 27 minus 54 plus 27 plus 12, which is 12. So 12 is the point of local minima. Next, we should substitute 1 in f double dash of x because after substituting 3, we need to find the maxima. And in order to check if it is maxima, we should substitute 1 in f double dash of x. So when we substitute 1 in f double dash of x, we get it as negative 6, which is less than 0. So we can understand that it is a point of local maxima. So when we substitute 1 in f of x, we get it as 1 cube minus 6 into 1 plus 9 plus 12. That is equal to 16. So from this, we can understand that maximum value is 16 and it occurs when x is equal to 1, and minimum value is 12 and it occurs when x is equal to 3. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, children, is it clear? Is it okay? But I think Karthik, you can explain it little. Okay, you can explain it more because actually, even I got confused when I am finding f double dash of 1 and 1. Okay. Okay. Can you once again give all the main points again? How to find the derivatives? How to find the maximum and minimum. Once again, just the main points.
Ma'am, while using second derivative test, we should differentiate it twice.
Yeah. Yes.
Then when we differentiate it twice, okay, after that, we should let f of x be 0.
F dash of x to be 0.
Yes, f dash of x to be 0. Then from that we can find the value of x. Then we should substitute the value of x in f double dash of x.
Okay.
Then if it is greater than 0, it is a point of minima. And if it is less than 0, it is a point of maxima. Then after finding if it is a maxima or minima, we should substitute the value of x in f of x. Then we'll get the maxima and minima.
What about the others? Is it clear, children? Is it okay? Any doubt? Okay, very good. Karthik, good. Okay.
Ma'am.
Aishwarya, is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Once again, I will repeat it, children. For finding maxima, minima, we are given with a function. We have to differentiate it twice. We have to differentiate it twice. Then after differentiating, we will be equating the first order derivative to 0. Equate first order derivative to 0. So when we equate first order derivative to 0, we will be getting a value of x. After finding that value of x, substitute that in second order derivative. Substitute that in second order derivative. If the second order derivative is positive, then it is a point of local minima. Positive means minima. And if the second order derivative is negative, means it is a point of maximum. So we have got at which point we are having maximum, at which point we are having maximum. So once we get the point, substitute that point in the function f of x. Substitute that in the function f of x. Once we substitute that in f of x, we will get the maximum value of the function. Local maximum value and local minimum value of the function. Okay. For the function, the maximum value occurs at when x is equal to something. Similarly, minimum value of the function is dash when x is something. Okay, for finding the value of the function, we should substitute that x value once again in f. Okay, sometimes the maximum value may be negative, sometimes the minimum value may be positive. It's not a problem. Okay, don't expect always maximum will be positive, minimum will be negative. It's not like that. Okay, I think we did one question where maximum value we got it as negative. Okay, it may occur. Local maximum means within that region what is the maximum. Okay, it may be positive or negative. Now, Tomlin, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Maximum and minimum. So here is the question. Find two positive integers whose sum is 16 and sum of the cubes is minimum. So we can start. We are taking the numbers x and y, and in the question it is given sum of the cubes is minimum. So we are taking s is equal to s cube plus y cube, and sum of the integers is 16. So x plus y is equal to 16, and in that equation we are bringing y to the right side. So x is equal to 16 minus y. We are substituting in the first equation. 16 minus y cube, 16 minus y whole cube plus y cube. So a minus b whole cube is equal to a cube minus b cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square. Using that equation we get 16 cube minus y cube minus 3 into 16y plus 3 into 16y square plus y cube. We are taking 16 as common. Minus y cube and plus y cube will get cancelled. So 16 we are taking out and we get 16 square minus 3 into 16y plus 3y square. We are opening, we are doing calculation number, so 16 square is 256 minus 48y plus 3y square. We are doing first order derivative. for this equation. So dx by dy is equal to 16. Derivative of two constant is 0, so 256 becomes 0. Minus 48 by minus 48 in 3y squared becomes 6y. So 16 into 0 minus 48 plus 6y. We are doing second order derivative. Derivative of constant is 0. Y is 1. So 16 into 6, 96, which is greater than 0. 6y minus 48 is equal to 0. We are 48 goes to right side, so it becomes positive. 6y is equal to 48 and y is equal to 8. Y is greater than 0 and minimum value occurs at 8. So we are substituting the first equation. So x is equal to 60 minus y, x is equal to 60 minus 8, x is equal to 8. Both numbers are 8. Thank you. Ma'am, you are muted.
Tomlin, once again share the screen. Okay, I'll make you the host. Okay. Tomlin, please share the screen with me. I want to say some corrections here. Yes? Can you hear me, Tomlin?
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute.
There's some corrections are there. Okay? Next time, when you do this, the corrections, okay, avoid these mistakes. Okay. Here,
Okay.
yes, I can see. Okay, I'll not be able to write it on the screen, children. All of you listen to this carefully. Okay, this part is okay. What you have written is correct. S is x cube plus y cube. So x plus y is 16. X is 16 minus y. After that, look at the next step. This is equal to 16 minus y cube plus y cube. Have you got? What is that? What is that?
Ma'am, we are substituting the first equation.
So you should mention it here. S is equal to. Is that not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, we are finding yes. So S is equal to 16 minus y the whole cube plus y cube. Again, look at the next point. Again, the next point, that is a correction. We'll give the correction here.
Ma'am, 16 square.
Yes, it is a cube plus minus b cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square. Okay, so that is the correction. Okay, and here also everything. Okay, here we are getting a functioning yes. It is a functioning yes. And look at the now. Show the next screen, Tomlin. Suddenly it becomes dy by dx by dy. Actually, it is ds by dy. Okay, it is ds. Similarly, the next one, ds by d square. Why? Okay, we are differentiating sum with respect to y. Okay, then the rest and all okay. Here also it is d square s. So write the variables correctly. Okay, Tommy. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tommy. Okay, now once more. Okay, children. Okay, so next time avoid these mistakes and okay, when you prepare it, you go through it once again. Whether I wrote the correct variable, whether I'm writing the correct numbers and all, and check it. Okay, anyhow, done well. Okay. So others prepare it for the next class. Okay, next tomorrow onwards we'll be starting with the new chapter, determinants. Okay, thank you.